Welcome to the third episode of the series looking at the emotion of fear. In this episode, we're talking about the effects of fear of COVID-19 on older people, on their daily lives as well as on their mental and physical health, and how carers of older people have been adapting to support them. Older people are commonly acknowledged as the most endangered group in relation to the pandemic. Various studies were carried out in 2020 and 2021 to identify the effects of isolation, lack of contact with relatives, as well as ongoing, and in many cases constant, fear of the virus. Almost all these studies confirmed that for various reasons, older adults are the most vulnerable age group in society when it comes to COVID-19. Most of them highlight the negative consequences for physical and mental health. However, there's also some mention of the fact that fear sometimes has a positive function in protecting oneself from situations that might be risky. The organisation Age UK in the UK published a study called The Impact of COVID-19 on Older People's Mental and Physical Health. We'll now go through some of the key findings of the study. Clearly, there have been many effects of the pandemic on the mental and physical health of the older people. Some said that they felt they were perceived by their relatives as more forgetful, confused, and repeating things often. 20% of older people surveyed said that they find it harder to remember things since the start of the lockdowns. They responded that the COVID-19 pandemic has increased their worry and overall anxiety and fear about contracting COVID-19, fear about the well-being and safety of their family, fear about the future. For some older people, this kind of fear has been debilitating, leading to panic attacks and physical symptoms which have had a profound impact on their day-to-day lives. 1 in 3 older people said that their anxiety is now worse or much worse than before the start of the pandemic. Many older adults face a dilemma in a sense that they're afraid of leaving the house, but at the same time can't cope with the loneliness and isolation at home. Some older people are worried what the future holds for them and fear that their lives will never be the same again. They're scared about the idea of a next wave of infections and further lockdowns, particularly if it takes place in the winter months. Following months of staying inside, some older people who responded to the study said that they've lost confidence in completing day-to-day activities which used to be completely normal and routine for them. We've also done our own research as part of the Creating Wellbeing project. We've met care home workers and workers from related organisations and asked them about the impact and implications they see at work and how they've handled fear of the people under their care. Our focus group discussions were conducted in 5 European countries: Romania, Spain, Ireland, Poland, and Great Britain. During this phase, we saw many similarities and shared experiences among the people we surveyed and the older people in their care. We've analysed the data and have prepared a set of tools to help carers support older adults with the fears they may be facing. Most of the carers we spoke to also highlighted, as expected, the fact that the feeling of fear and uncertainty increased a lot during the pandemic. During this difficult time, they talked to the older people a lot, trying to keep them in a good physical condition as well as a good state of mind, while trying to transmit a positive attitude, even though they were also afraid of the virus. Personal contact and interpersonal relations were most important, but they also used a lot of tools, materials, and creativity through games, books, videos, costumes, performances, fairs, and more. In many, if not most cases, changing the focus and finding an activity that could turn attention away from the fear-generating factors was the key to handling the difficult situation. Apart from fear, they also talked a lot about feelings of loneliness, sadness, and anxiety that the older people were experiencing. We'll be looking at these emotions in later series of this podcast. In the meantime, have a look at our activity toolkit called Creativity Applied to Fear for a set of 12 ready-to-go and easy-to-use tools and activities which can be useful for coping with fear and helping others manage fears that may be caused as a result of the pandemic. Thanks for listening.